We know Dr. Phil as the guy on TV with a shortage of hair on his head, who most often mediates between two divided sides. He's usually the voice of common sense among people who live their lives in a strange way.
Your self-esteem, I mean, it's low, right?
But despite the shortage of hair, he has no shortage of strange guests on his show. Here is our top 10 list of the strangest people on Dr. Phil. Sexy vegan looks like a real-life comic book character. Not the heroic ones, but more of the ridiculous ones. He has his name tattooed on his forehead in green, wears Speedos in public, and carries a mirror everywhere he goes. He is 33 years old, does not work, and relies on his mother to fully take care of all of his expenses. He has been arrested 15 times in total, and his mother has been there to bail him out every time. This man clearly lives in a bubble, as he believes he is the most good-looking man on Earth.
I am drop-dead gorgeous.
We're not throwing shade, but anyway, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so I guess you can be the judge. He also believes he's the best dancer in the world, and has posted his dance videos several times on social media. He has a bunch of released songs where he praises himself and his dog. And to top it all off, he wants to be the next president of the United States. That is one hell of a dream for a man in nothing but Speedo shorts, let me tell you something. Sexy Vegan is a ridiculous man. You can visit his page later on for more hilarious videos. But for now, let's switch it up real quick and talk about this father who angered the whole of America with his unacceptable behavior towards his daughter. Some parents just don't get it. How you raise your child and what you expose them to affects the type of person they will become in the future. Well, this father, who apparently had no clue about this, shared alcohol and did drugs with his daughter. Not just any drugs, but the hard ones. Cocaine, heroin. Sounds crazy, right? But this father believed it was the only way to bond with a 17-year-old.
Even though I know it's the wrong way, that was my way of being close with my daughter.
The two would only speak to each other while partying and doing drugs. One time she had an adverse reaction after abusing. Her heart palpitations went crazy and she had a full-on seizure. Doctors said she could have died. When she got out of the hospital, she was done with that lifestyle and told her dad she wasn't going back to drugs ever again. His response had the crowd clenching their fists, ready to punch some sense into this guy. He had tried to plead with his daughter to continue taking drugs. I mean, who does that? And how is he not in jail? Some parents do the strangest things with their children. Coming right up is one more unbelievable story of a mother and daughter who strip down and do despicable things to men. Riley makes around $2,000 a day. On a bad week, she would make about $5,000. No, she doesn't have a business or go to work. She earns all this from escorting men to dinner, performing weird fetishes, and being a companion. She is what they call a sugar baby. Sugar babies are quite popular today. Women all over the world are opting to date rich for money. The ethical stance of this is subject for debate, and some people believe it's prostitution, while others believe it's acceptable as the sugar babies don't have to get physically intimate with the men. But that's another topic entirely. Today we share the story of two sugar babies who have hit the headlines, several talk shows, and even featured on Dr. Phil's set. Riley claims to have never been sexually involved with any sugar daddy. She's been making so much money that her mother decided to join in. The two have even been going on double dates together. One time, they both had to strip down to their underwear and whip an older man. They both admitted to this without even flinching, as if it was normal. I would never in a million years consider that normal. What this mother and daughter do is frankly disgusting. Here's one more disgusting story of one of the most disrespectful men. Warning, you'll be overwhelmed with the need to smack some sense into him. Blake sleeps with many women at one go, so that if one stops going to see him, he has other options. He refers to himself as a manwhore and calls the women he associates with sluts. His sister, Sarah, thinks he is a quote-unquote disgusting pig. He treats women like objects, and one day he brought two girls home and made the, again, quote-unquote uglier one stay outside. He later bragged about it to his friends. He says girls are weird and they don't know what they want.
Girls are weird. They don't know what they want.
So far, he has slept with more than 70 women and dumped them all. The man is unemployed, living rent-free in his mother's new house, and acts like he's entitled and is often verbally abusive to his mother. Sandra, his mom, should probably kick him out of the house and tell him to, get a life. Everyone decides on how to live their lives on their own. Some choices are great, and some are bad. But none is as horrible as the one this hoarder has made. She sleeps with all her animals, right down to their feces. It gets worse, trust me. I am appalled by the way I am living. I haven't been excited about living for a long time. This is what you call drowning, above water drowning.
I am appalled by the way I'm living.
Explained the nearly evicted hoarder as she waddles through piles and piles of garbage and feces right in her house. Well, it's clear to say that something isn't right here. The lady justifies her actions saying she's merely collecting things. She's attached to everything in her house and isn't willing to part with them, even the trash. She lives with her 6 dogs and a cat who sleeps with her on a mattress. In the same house, she has lived with 2 horses, 3 tortoises, 2 goats, and a chicken. Her kitchen is no longer functional. She hasn't made a meal in 3 years. She survives on canned foods, frozen food, and takeout, which she warms with the microwave in her garage. None of her family or friends are allowed to visit her. No one would, even if they could. This upcoming story has to be the worst case of compulsive lying in the history of mankind. Be ready to be shocked, but mostly entertained by this strange girl. You haven't seen strange until you see this woman who claims to be 9 months pregnant with Jesus.
There is no what if. I am pregnant.
She also believes Dr. Phil is her uncle, and that isn't even half of it. The woman also believes that Eminem, yes, that Eminem, is her biological father. She also claims to be the one who pays all the bills in her house. She says her mom was on meth while she was pregnant, and she donated her kidney to her brother. When she was questioned, she changed the story and said her mother gave birth to her to only use her as a guinea pig for her sick brother. She claims she was speaking full sentences when she was still crawling. I mean, her list of lies are pretty much endless. Her mother and sister brought her to the show to seek help for her delusional and compulsive lying behavior, and we do hope that she does get the help she needs. Dr. Phil is the show of people lying or being lied to. Here's one more story of a woman who stole 2 twins and lied to the world that they were her own. This all started when the mother of Sophie and Vivian joined a Facebook group for mums and multiples, where she uploaded pictures of her bundle of joy. A year later, the mom received a private message from a stranger who informed her that all her baby's pictures had been stolen and were posted on another blog. The identity thief stole every picture, came up with new names for the twins, Adea and Kimberlyn, and posted them as her own. The psychopath even had a story to support every picture. Just like any other mom, this parent was terrified that her kids had been digitally kidnapped. She hired a private investigator who uncovered even more shocking details. This madness had gone beyond what they initially thought. Her daughters were in picture frames all over the woman's house. She would blurt out their mother in images, hide their name tags from their clothes and items. She had also come up with a story about how the kids had been taken away from her, but that she would be reunited with them very soon. This was what made the couple realize that their kids could be in some serious danger. They installed security cameras everywhere and would monitor their kids every single day. They even called the police, after which they discovered Ashley had been arrested several times in the past for identity theft. It has been 3 years of this insanity. Hopefully, Dr. Phil can put a stop to it. While Sophie and Vivian are struggling to keep their children out of danger, Dan, on the other hand, struggles to keep his wife from running away with other men. Here's his story. A mother, wife, and former preschool teacher admits to having cheated on her husband with more than 20 men. She admits to being a serial cheater, and not even her daughter's judgments on her behavior is enough to make her stop. It all started one day when Dan, her husband, refused to give her money for a breakfast date with her girlfriends. She went right ahead and contacted her ex, and one thing led to another. After that, she was unstoppable. She would sleep out with other men 3 or 4 times a week. She slept with high school friends, mutual Facebook friends, and people from work. Her daughters, unfortunately, had to go through the trauma of finding out about their mother's affairs. They've watched their dad cry several times and advised him to leave her. But he won't. He loves her to death and is ready to do whatever it takes to fix this. They weren't wrong when they said love is blind. We've seen many people being obsessed with their pets. Here's the story of a woman who would rather get cancer than lose her felines. Squishy, Rocky, Lucy, Sid, JJ are all cats. And there are 9 more of them. They all live in this woman's house with her husband, who has had quite enough of the madness. She loves her cats to death and would rather get breast cancer again than lose any of them. If you think she's crazy, wait until you watch the rest of the footage. One of her cats, called Romo, wakes her up to 3 times a night, as he can't drink from anywhere other than the bathtub. So from 3 o'clock, she or her husband will have to get up out of bed, open the faucet for the cat to hydrate. Every time she goes to the grocery store, she has to come back with about 20 to 30 cans of cat food. Her husband says he's not getting enough attention, as she is always taking care of the pets. She wants to be referred to as a cat collector, but she's of course more of a crazy cat lady. Now how about a man who is obsessed with dogs in one of the strangest ways possible?
Alright, I saved the best for last, but first I have a quick challenge that only takes 5 seconds to complete. So if you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just give it a try, it really works.
Gary is a 48-year-old man with no career or job, and his entire life is dependent on the trust fund set up by his mother. He lives in his own house, not as a human being, but as a dog. Gary, also known as Boomer the dog, believes he is half human and half dog. He dresses up in public as a sheepdog, has a dog collar, eats dog food, barks, and walks on all fours. You might even catch him in the park rolling in the grass just like dogs do. While we are not one to judge his life choices, something is not okay with this man. He has never dated a woman, he's a virgin, and spends most of his time with other dogs outside. His parents must have told him, good boy, and he took it the wrong way or something. That's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. Every bit helps. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Top 5 Best. We're sure to keep you entertained.